Welcome to Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're in Los Angeles today, right outside of Culver City, and we're talking to the mayor of Culver City, Jim Clarke. He's finishing his term as mayor, will still be on the council. And recently, your city council of Culver City passed a motion declaring the city a sanctuary city. You use those words.
Correct.
Sanctuary city. Talk to us about why you chose to use those words. Some cities are saying safe zone, safe haven. You picked the word sanctuary city.
Well, there's no clear definition of what is a sanctuary city, so it's really up to each jurisdiction to define it. We felt even well before this election that we were acting that way, and the major components are we do not use somebody's potential immigration status as a reason for stopping someone. We don't ask for proof of residency or being in this country legally.
And I remind our viewers, your city does have its own police department.
Correct, right.
So in theory, you do have folks that are engaging with residents in that way.
And it could be other things too, not just police. It could be people that are applying for permits or anything
School
else,
district.
interactions, or or a recreation program or something like. So we don't ask for any proof of citizenship or a green card or anything like that. If we take someone into custody, and we don't retain any of that information, we don't
collect it.
We don't collect it, so we don't have any of it to share. If we take someone into custody, and we have a small jail, but we generally transfer people to the county. But if they're in our custody, and somebody from ICE, say, would come, there's something called the California Truth Act, and that we're required to get in writing the fact that we've advised the individual that they do not have to talk to ICE if they don't want to. So we do that, and also we would not turn anyone over to ICE unless there was a proper court order. So that's been our policy all along, but we felt that by stating it as that we're a sanctuary city, that's something that people understand.
Yet, by using those two words, you were making a statement.
Correct.
The federal administration repeatedly has said that they are going to try to punish. I don't know if they've used those words, but effectively create a financial disincentive to entities, cities that declare themselves sanctuary or otherwise. So what made you decide to take that very strong step to use those two words? You could have said safe haven. You could have said safe zone.
I understand, but we wanted to give a clear message to our community that we are a welcoming community, that people don't need to be fearful at all. Our school district made a statement about creating safe zones within the school district. We just felt that this was an important statement to make to our folks here. And I'll note something to you that's interesting. Our Culver City School District is the fourth most diverse school district in the United States.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
25% Caucasian, 25% Latino, 25% African American, 25% Asian American. I don't know why we're not number one, but and we've got a diversity of faith-based groups. We've got synagogues, we've got a mosque, we've got Hindu, Baha'i, we've got the mainstream Christians.
So let me ask you then, because UCLA recently came out with a survey. They had interviewed folks up and down Los Angeles County, and the numbers as it relates to fear surrounding deportation were pretty daunting. We have 37% of Los Angeles County residents saying they fear that a family member or a friend will be deported. In LA County, 56% of Latinos have that fear. About a third of Asians have that fear. Given that you're a microcosm of Los Angeles County, are you seeing those numbers come to life in Culver City, those fears?
Well, one of the ways that we're going to be able to determine that, I think, those fears is if we see a lack of reporting of crimes, or people coming forward to be witnesses for crimes.
Well, let's continue.
There's been some of that being seen already in Los Angeles. We're much smaller, so it may take longer, but that's one of the indications I think that we.
And the poll went deeper, and of those that expressed fears of deportation, 80% said that they feared interacting with the government. 80%, and they specifically talked about the police. Look, we know, I mean, I heard recently, at least as it relates to Los Angeles, that the reporting amongst Latinos of domestic violence, of generic violence, is dropping since the new administration took office. Is there a causation? I don't know, but something is going on here.
Sure.
You know, the chief of the California Supreme Court said we need to stop stalking immigrants at courthouses. The New Jersey Supreme Court did that recently. So what are you seeing in Culver City?
Well, again, we even, long before the election, our chief of police put out a statement about what our policy was, and we posted it on the website, and we've talked about it. We had a community forum in which we discussed what exactly the role of the police was. But quite frankly, if you say sanctuary city, that's sort of a brand.
Right, it is.
Even though you don't necessarily, it's not that well defined, but people get some reassurance as a result of that, I think, and so that's the reason why we were doing. It's too early for us to determine the particular statistics as to whether this is.
But what if the Trump administration moves forward
Well,
and says
California is going to become a sanctuary state pretty soon.
Arguably.
LA County has pretty much become a sanctuary county. I mean, and I was back with the U.S. Conference of Mayors back in January in D.C. We heard from the president of the ACLU this issue about taking away funds and other kinds of things. It's not that simple, Ann.
But, and I've heard that as well. But what experts are saying, as I understand it, is to the extent that Mr. Trump is on solid legal ground to withdraw funds, they would really need to be focused on law enforcement.
Correct, right.
So if they wanted to withdraw transportation funds, that would be a harder lift.
Exactly.
Could that impact Culver City?
Not really. We've talked with the chief about the impact. There's some little bit of funding that we get, but I'm more concerned about the fact that the Republicans are planning to cut the COPS funding, the community-oriented policing services, out of the budget entirely. I mean,
unconnected to the sanctuary question.
Yeah, unconnected to it. So I'm concerned about what's happening in those regards.
The federal government is also talking about legalized marijuana. We know that virtually every jurisdiction who has had that question presented to them on the ballot has passed legalized marijuana, either medical or recreational. California as well. The new Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, has said that he does not support legalized marijuana, and the federal government continues to schedule it. And so where does a city like Culver City go when you have a new Attorney General squawking about his opposition to state legal marijuana?
Well, we're looking at it more from the standpoint of what's the impact upon our residents, what's the impact upon the finances of the city, those kinds of issues. We've actually assembled a task force with members of the City Council, Planning Commission, city departments, and we're studying it because there's something like as many as 16 different permits that could be issued for whether it's delivery or it's manufacturing or it's retail sales or it's testing or it's cultivation. And it's very complex.
So you're moving forward regardless of threats from the federal government?
Right. We're moving forward in part because if we wanted to do something where we placed a tax on this, we would have to take it to the voters in April of 2018, which means we'd have to be ready by November or shortly thereafter.
And many jurisdictions have. Some even did it in November.
But they did
in
early
anticipation.
Exactly, yeah.
There are some concerns that a tax by a city just layers on another tax on the state tax, and so is that of concern?
And then it drives the whole thing underground. So,
arguably.
Yeah, exactly.
So are you looking at that question?
Yeah, we're looking at all of those sort of things. So that's something that we've got to do, and we've got maybe about 5 months in order to do that, 5 or 6 months.
He is Jim Clarke. He is the mayor of the city of Culver City. We're right outside Culver City today in Los Angeles. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's Local Edition.